Man, I'm built different, period. I'm just built different, man. And I've always had an eye, discipline, and a work ethic that I've had at a young age that I just apply it there.
If you're like me, when you think of the word Hooters, you probably picture one of two things: buffalo wings or waitresses wearing tight shorts. It's hard to imagine now, but there was a time when the restaurant we all know today didn't exist. And honestly, if it hadn't been for a bit of dumb luck, it might never have come into existence at all. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are uncovering the backstory of how Hooters became an American icon. When I first started writing this video, I thought I knew what I was getting myself into. I was ready to dive into the history of a Clearwater Beach restaurant that was just as famous for its food as it was for its attractive waitresses. What I didn't realize was that the story behind the chain would take us on a wild goose chase that led to everything from IRS investigations to the world of professional football. So grab your napkins, your celery sticks, and your best wing sauce, because we are about to deep fry the truth. How do you go from a small beachside restaurant to a national phenomenon? Well, believe it or not, it actually started with a simple family dinner. After spending the day working at his family's insurance business in 1983, a young man named Robert H. Brooks decided he needed to find a nice spot for dinner. He had a very specific craving for fried chicken wings. And despite being the son of a successful businessman, Brooks had very little money to spend. This meant that he ended up frequenting affordable restaurants where he could get large portions of the saucy snacks he loves. After eating his fill, he had an epiphany. He realized that he could make more money serving buffalo wings than working in the insurance industry. His father wasn't exactly supportive of this idea, but he did agree to lend his son $25,000 to start his own business. So Brooks teamed up with a friend of his called Lynn Stewart, who happened to be an experienced restaurateur. Together, they opened a small establishment in the Tampa Bay area that specialized in chicken wings. They called their restaurant Hooters, after the owl, not the Hooters. They got off to a slow start and only served around 14 customers on their opening day. But by the end of the year, the restaurant was making more than $1 million. Not bad for a couple of guys that spent more time hooting it up than waiting tables. Over the next few years, business continued to boom, and Brooks knew he needed to expand. But before he could open another restaurant, he needed to figure out how to operate one. As the saying goes, it takes money to make money. And although Hooters was turning a profit, the money was going straight back into the business. This left Brooks with no capital and no way to fund new locations unless he found investors. Fortunately, he had a unique selling point that made attracting investors pretty easy. In addition to serving top-quality chicken wings, Hooters boasted an incredibly low failure rate. In fact, during the first 4 years of business, the company only closed one restaurant, and that was due to a landlord selling a building. With this level of success, Brooks had no problem convincing investors to fund a second location, which opened in 1986. Within just 2 years, Hooters had expanded to 8 different restaurants, all located in Florida. But the founder knew that to continue growing, he needed to branch out into other states. The question was, where should they go next? It was 1988 when Brooks and Stewart decided to take the Hooters brand north. Their first stop on the journey was Charlotte, North Carolina. To say that this expansion went well would be an understatement. Within just 3 months of opening their doors, Charlotte's Hooters was already bringing in twice as much money as any other restaurant in the chain. It was clear to Brooks that the Carolinas were a gold mine, and over the next decade, he would go on to open 27 restaurants across the 2 states. But while the numbers were great, something was bothering Brooks. The more restaurants he opened, the less control he had over the day-to-day operations. That's when he decided it was time to bring in some professional help. He hired a new president, a guy named Mike W. Smith, and together they would take the Hooters experience to the next level. Smith brought a new level of marketing savvy to the company, and by 1997, Hooters had become a household name across America. There was even talk of taking the company public. But then the unexpected happened. A group of investors who were interested in purchasing Hooters discovered that the restaurant was being investigated by the IRS. Apparently, The company had been inflating their profits, and the feds wanted to find out why. The investigation turned out to be a huge headache for the company. They decided to change direction and refocus on what had made them successful in the first place, the food. In the early 2000s, Hooters came out with a new menu that replaced some of their less popular items with crowd-pleasing favorites like shrimp, tacos, and salads. These changes paid off big time, and Hooters saw a major increase in profits. Today, Hooters is still one of the most popular dining chains in America, with more than 420 locations in 70 different states and countries. And even though the company has changed hands several times since its humble beginnings in Clearwater, it still retains many of the values that made it so special in the first place. Now, here's the thing. If you watch this channel regularly, you'll know that we tend to focus on weird and unusual stories from the past. We've talked about everything from bizarre crimes to crazy historical events, but sometimes we stumble across a story that's so strange it defies belief. And this is one of those cases. Just listen to this. Two guys open a small restaurant specializing in chicken wings. They call it Hooters after an animal. The restaurant becomes successful, and they start franchising the concept. Each new restaurant does better than the last until one day the IRS shows up to investigate the company's finances. The investigation creates a huge headache, but once it's over, the company owners decide to change their business model and focus on their food. This leads to an increase in profits, and eventually the company is sold. I don't know about you, but this sounds like the plot of a movie. There's the quirky small business, the eccentric characters, the wacky investors, and the shocking government interference. It's got everything you need for a great comedy. But in real life, it's even weirder. So what makes Hooters so special? Why is it that people keep coming back even though there are plenty of other places to choose from? Well, it's probably a combination of factors. For one thing, Hooters offers something that's hard to find these days. A casual dining experience where you can go and enjoy a good meal without breaking the bank. In a time when everyone is looking for ways to save money, this is a huge draw. Another reason is that Hooters has managed to maintain a sense of fun and whimsy. While some chains are becoming increasingly corporate and sterile, Hooters is still the place where you can go to let loose and enjoy yourself. And finally, there's the food. At Hooters, they take pride in serving up some of the best wings and burgers around. Using only the freshest ingredients, their dishes are made from scratch, and they never skimp on quality. This commitment to excellence has earned them a loyal following and helped them stand the test of time. So the next time you're in the mood for some delicious wings or a fun night out with friends, be sure to head to Hooters. You won't be disappointed. In the end, the story of Hooters isn't just about a successful business. It's a story about following your dreams and taking risks. It's a reminder that even when things seem bleak, it's possible to turn things around and come out ahead. So to all the aspiring entrepreneurs out there, remember the story of Hooters and never give up on your dreams. And that wraps up our look at the surprising origins of Hooters. Did you learn anything new? Do you have a favorite Hooters memory? Let me know in the comments section below. As always, thank you all for watching, and be sure to tune in next time for more stories from the past.
Man, I'm built different, period. I'm just built different, man. And I've always had an eye, discipline, and a work ethic that I've had at a young age that I just kind of